since we're talking about signs today, I've just seen one from McDonald's. That's the universe's way of telling me that I need to go and get myself a Big Mac for lunch. Yeah. Yup. 158.9 petrol. Are you joking? Oh my God. How expensive is that? I'm going to start driving in neutral, save some bloody fuel. Oh my God, why can't people use roundabouts? Go! You're right away.
Welcome to the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast, the place where we talk about getting businesses seen, remembered and chosen. I'm Joanne Pearce, a visibility specialist and friendly northerner, wife, mum and someone who's built 2 businesses from the ground up on nothing more than a wing and a prayer and sheer determination. I help independent businesses from around the world get found using honest, down-to-earth marketing grounded in real-life business experience. I believe that every business owner has a story to tell, and that story deserves to be at the very heart of their marketing. This podcast is for businesses of all kinds, whether you sell products or services, work locally or globally, are big or small, and you want to be found without relying solely on social media. Expect real stories, honest conversations, a good dose of northern humour, and simple visibility advice that will actually move the needle for your business. Let's go.
Right, I don't know how this is going to go because basically I've just come out of the dentist and I thought I'll just record a podcast episode while I'm on my way home. Now, asked my AI if this was a good idea, proper told me off. It was like, Joanne, what are you thinking? Why would you do that while you're driving? You need to concentrate. I thought, you know what? If I can drive home with a 6-year-old screaming down my ear and my husband going on at me in the passenger seat about everything that isn't relevant whatsoever to the conversation, then I can definitely record a podcast episode and talk to myself while I'm driving. Right. So yeah, so I've just come out of the dentist. I'm on the drive home. I don't know how it's going to go. Let's try, let's see what happens. Apologise in advance for any swearing, but hopefully it's all good. So, what are we talking about today? Well, we are talking about signs because they're literally all around us, okay? And we're particularly talking about signs when it comes to your business. Are you missing them? Or are you waiting for a big sign to push you over the edge to start the business, to release the new range, to whatever it is that you've been putting off? I just got stopped at a red light here, right? And I used to play this game and I used to say to myself, as I was approaching the traffic light, I used to go, right, if that traffic light turns red before I get to it, then I'm not meant to do the thing that I was thinking about. Yeah. If it turns green or if it stays on green, then I'm definitely meant to do the thing that I was thinking about, and I started basing like life decisions on these bloody traffic light sequences. You won't be able to stop doing it now, honestly, now you've heard this. But anyway, I've stopped doing that. However, something weird did happen to me yesterday, which is what prompted this episode. And we're talking about signs. And I just thought this was a perfect example. But basically, last week was my mum's birthday, or would have been my mum's birthday. And on her actual birthday, both me and Eden, my daughter, we were chatting about grandma. She never got to meet her, so I often talk about her and say, what she was like, really trying to keep the memory of her alive. And we were in bed and we had a cuddle and Eden was just really sad. And I said, what's the matter, darling? And she said, I just miss grandma. And she said to me, I just wish that we knew that she was okay. And I said, when grandma first left us, some really weird things did happen. One of them was that she used to flicker the lights quite a lot, or so I believe anyway, in my dad's house, in her house. And it happened quite a lot. And it never happened after a few weeks after she passed away. So I said, that's one way that I knew that grandma was telling me she was okay. So Eden then stands up and goes to her dream catcher, which she's got behind her bed. She holds onto it and she says, Mummy, I'm going to make a wish. So I said, okay, go for it. Anyway, she made this wish and she comes back into bed for a cuddle. She said, "Do you know what I wished for?" And I said, "No, what is it?" She said, "I wished that Grandma would show herself to us so we knew that she was okay." And I said, "Oh, that's lovely, darling." I said, "Well, she's probably very busy up there." And so we went to bed that night. And I said to her, "Look, we'll go and visit Grandma's special garden, we call it, which is in the cemetery. So we'll go and visit it at the weekend." So the next day came and we headed to the cemetery and we had a little mini can of lemonade, which is something that Mum really enjoyed. She used to say that mini cans are just enough for her, just enough Joanne them. And then we had a slice of lemon cake as well, which was also her favourite. And we had a little chat with her, put some flowers on. And then we came away and I went to my dad's house. And while I was there, I said to him, "Right, I'm just going to go and jump in the shower." There is a point to the story, by the way. I went into what was my sister's bedroom, which is where I dried my hair, and is also where Mum spent a lot of the time when she was really poorly. So I finished drying my hair, looked in the mirror, I was titivating it, like you do. And then all of a sudden, I'm not kidding you, the bedroom light went absolutely mental, flickering. Right? It wasn't just a little flicker like the bulb's going to go. It was full on flashing for at least a minute. And I just stared at it. And I just thought, that's her. That has got to be her telling me that she heard us. We'd been to see her that day at the grave. It was so strange. And as I say, it went on for quite a while. So I thought, I'm going to see if I can get Eden up to have a look at it. So I literally just shouted, "Eden," like that. And then it stopped. Completely stopped. And I mean, Eden was watching YouTube anyway, she didn't hear me. But I just knew, I just felt really calm after that happened. And I thought, that's Mum just letting me know she's here, and she's okay. So I've carried that with me this weekend. Sorry, I'm still really numb from the dentist and I'm dribbling a bit as I'm driving. What are you doing? I'm taxi driving, jibbing in. Sorry. Anyway, so that was my sign this weekend. But it got me thinking about signs in business, What is it you're ignoring or you're not seeing simply because you're not looking? So I'm on the road right now, okay? There's loads of road signs, none of which say where I am going, okay? They're not saying Glossop on them. They're saying all of the areas that are around Glossop. But eventually, the road leads me there. So all these little signs that you might be missing are actually making up the main goal and the big picture. Let me give you an example. So what would a sign look like, okay, for a business owner that you might be ignoring? Maybe that sign is that someone keeps asking you for something, yeah? For example, when I had my stationery business, I used to have this one product and everybody always used to ask me, "Do you do it in pink? Can you do this particular," it was a scrapbook that I used to make, "can you make it in pink?" And I think I must have got asked for it, honestly, 30, 40 times before I actually decided I need to do this in pink. And when I did, that product became one of my biggest sellers. That was a sign, them telling me that I needed to create this product. So ever since that happened, I had a rule where if somebody asks me 3 times for something, then I would do it. So have a look at something that maybe people have been asking you for a service or a product. Have you been asked for it numerous times? If you have, think about starting it up or creating it or introducing it to your services. Another sign could be, have you posted something on social media or on your blog or somewhere that's getting a response that people are engaging with? Yeah, that is a sign that something resonates with them, whatever it is. So act on it. Another one could be, is there something that you are offering right now, product or a service, that is selling well, that people are buying or signing up to? If they are, this is a sign that this is your niche. You've got to think like Alan Sugar. I always say, do what Alan Sugar says. Or sorry, Sir Alan Sugar he's called, isn't he now? Smell what sells, okay? If something is selling, do more of it. And that is your niche. That is what you will get known for and what you are good at. Because often we're trying to do everything, aren't we? We're not sure what we're good at anymore. But if you are doing something repetitively that people are enjoying and are buying, more importantly, then that is what you need to keep doing more of. And all these small signs that are happening around you are the little changes that will shift your business. And that's how you've got to look at it, okay? Because you're not going to get to that destination straight away. I'm not just going to click my fingers and appear in Glossop. Unfortunately, I've got to deal with all these dickheads on the road right now. But what I'm saying is, look out for these little signs, because altogether they will get you to where you want to be. And signs are everywhere, aren't they? My dentist said to me, while doing my filling, he said, oh, if at any point you feel anything or you're uncomfortable, just give me a sign. And I was already thinking about recording this podcast episode on the way home, so I thought, I'll give you a sign, all right, if I feel it, don't worry, mate. He really roughed, my dentist, as well. It really hurt. And I've got a good pain threshold, put it that way. So have a look at your business, honestly, and have a look at things that might have been happening around you. I'm not talking flickering lights here. I'm not talking feathers dropping down from the sky. I am talking about little signs that are there that you may be missing. Scroll back through your social posts. Which ones did well? Have a look through your order books. What products, what services are selling? Have a look through your messages, your emails. What are people asking for? And you need to fulfill that demand. Those little signs, you're being told what is working. So don't ignore them. I've just pulled up next to a car at the traffic lights, and she's got a sticker on the bumper, and it says, please be patient, I'm just a girl. Now, I'm looking at that, and it's getting me annoyed. And I'm thinking, just a girl? You need to give me 10 minutes with this girl, and I will tell her exactly why she is not just a girl. I really hope that that's a joke, but it's like she's trying to make an excuse for her driving or something. Like, be patient with me in case I'm driving too slow. Oh my God. She's definitely, if I had to guess, I can't see her, but I think she's on the young side. Get her in her 40s, in her 50s, she won't give a shit anymore. So that is my little mini podcast episode today while I'm on my drive home from the dentist about signs. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm still not got any feeling back in my mouth. I'm dribbling quite a bit, so I should probably wrap this up. But thank you for listening. As always, please do share this episode with somebody else that you think it would make them smile. And if you've been thinking about getting some help for your business, then let this be your sign. I am here. I would love to talk to you. I can give you some tips there and then, and there's no pressure whatsoever to work with me. But it would be lovely to hear from you. So I'm thinking if this podcast episode does well, I might even turn it into like a carpool karaoke idea, like James Corden does when he has different people sat in his passenger seat singing. I think I might try and do that with podcast guests. We'll do it in the car. 2 birds, 1 stone. On the way somewhere, get a podcast episode recorded, boom. So we could invite some guests into my car. I'll drive wherever we're going. I think it's a really good idea, actually. Watch this space. But for now, thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast. Bye for now. Oh, for God's sake. Just pulled up at home. The husband's working from home again. Oh, he's bloody home. He goes to work in the morning. He comes home after 2 hours and goes, oh, there's no one in the office. So we're all working from home. Jesus, I've not been alone in my house since 2022, I swear.
If today's episode has made you realise that visibility might be about more than just posting and hoping for the best, you are not alone. This is exactly the kind of thing I help independent businesses with, getting clearer on their story, their services, and how they actually show up online, especially on Google. If you want support that's honest, simple, and rooted in real-life business experience, I'm here. Visit my website, herhandmadehustle.co.uk, to see how we could work together. And if this episode helped you, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And don't forget to share it with someone else today who you think would enjoy it too. Thank you, and see you next time.